Hey everybody, Chuck Barone. It's Tuesday, July the 11th, 2023, and we're all holding our breath for tomorrow to see where that CPI number comes in. Man, what a wild and crazy time we're living in, guys. A wild day today, a lot to talk about here. Before we do, of course, let me welcome everybody to the show. Thank you, as always, for your guys' support. You guys watching these videos keeps us going every day, and we really appreciate you. All right, so let's talk about these markets today. As everybody knows, tomorrow is the big day, right? Well, the rest of this week can all be big days, truthfully, but tomorrow that CPI number comes out, and if they can hit their targets and expectations for what the numbers are going to be, things are going to probably be okay in this market. If they get a shocker to the upside, well, all bets are off, right? But in the meantime, today stock market had a pretty decent day, up all across the board. Big news today is earnings for banks, financial companies. JP Morgan leads the way, gets a big bump in their rating. Some big Wall Street research company or analysis said they're a buy now, so JP Morgan jumps, leads the bank stocks, leads the Dow. The Dow up 317 points today, 34,261. The S&P, the broader market, up 29 points, 4,439 on the S&P. And the NASDAQ up 75, 13,760 on the NASDAQ. So a decent day for stocks across the board, a nice couple of days in a row for the stocks. And I think that if the inflation numbers come in tomorrow reasonably, I think that we could have another decent day tomorrow. Stocks want to go. Earnings have been coming in pretty fair. Now, we'll see. This is a big earnings season coming now. I'm sure there'll be some disappointments, but if we can keep the earnings going, the market's going to stay going. Bonds today. Well, bonds are mixed. Really a weird day in the bond market. Another one, right? The 10-year falls 2 basis points. Now back under 4%, 3.98%. The 2-year actually takes those 2 basis points, goes up 2 basis points, 4.88% on the 2-year. So not a lot of action. Bond market certainly holding its breath for the news tomorrow. We've had some Fed people out basically confirming what Powell's been saying, 2 more increases this year. The bond market now factoring in a 94% probability that the Fed will raise rates 1/4 point later this month at their open market committee meeting. Also factoring in another rate increase sometime later this year. They haven't exactly figured out when that would be, if that would come in September or October. The dollar today down small again, 101.68 on the index. Dollar losing a little bit of steam, but still the king of the castle. I mean, it's right now there's just none of these other world currencies are very competitive. The metals market today, gold and silver had a decent day. Gold up $6.80, $1,931.90 for an ounce of gold. Silver up 4 cents today, $23.15 for an ounce of silver. So the metals holding their own, guys. I think that they're poised for a run. Just waiting for the right conditions to get that run, and they will get those conditions. Oil today up again, man, a decent day for oil, up $1.81 per barrel, sitting at $74.80 for a barrel of West Texas Intermediate. So this is a pretty strong rally over the last week or so, from high 60s now to just under $75. As I've been telling you guys, the trough has been $70 to $75. That's where oil seems to be most comfortable trading. Now they're at the upper of that $75 trough number. They may have a breakthrough. If they do, I really believe it'll be short-lived, and the market and the oil prices will get right back into that trough, because it's been that way for a little while now. And I think that I don't see really any reason to think that there's going to be increased demand for oil or a lack of supply. There's none of that on the horizon. So we'll see what happens. Bitcoin today, down small, down 296 for Bitcoin, 30,603, still a good strong number above 30,000. And as I've been telling you guys, if they get those ETFs through and you see Bitcoin fidelity, right? I think that's pretty bullish for Bitcoin, and you're going to see another rally in the product. All right, let's talk about news today. The first thing I saw today that I had to talk about was Bank of America. Now, you guys all know I'm no fan of big banks. I think they're just the hugest gouging rip-off crooks ever. And everything in our country is geared so these guys can be successful, right? So Bank of America today gets caught in their latest rip-off, right? So now Bank of America, because they were the Consumer Financial Protection Board is all over them on this, will be forced to pay $100 million back to customers. They're guilty of, listen to this, guys, what they're doing here. They're double charging accounts with insufficient funds. So the way that, you know how insufficient funds work, right? You try to use your debit card, or you write a check, you don't have funds to cover it, that gets rejected, that payment gets rejected. Typically, banks are going to charge a fee of $35 for that rejection. Bank of America, not happy with that $35, double, triple, quadruple charging customers, and then give them a giant hassle when they call to complain about it. Of course, this sucks because if a guy bouncing a check or his debit card's getting rejected, well, this is not a guy that can pay penalties and fines, especially doubles and triples. So it's just a horrendous fucking thing they're doing. They're horrible stuff. They're also, listen to this, guys, they were denying rewards payment to their credit card holders. So they give you the card, you take that card with the expectation, basically a contract that you're going to earn rewards points, you're going to be able to cash those points in. Of course, Bank of America deciding, nope, can't have them. So they're denying payments on their rewards. And of course, lastly, the big favorite of banks is using clients' personal data to open accounts for those clients without their knowledge. Of course, that helps them show growth and helps their stocks stay high, right? That scam is very similar to the one Wells Fargo did a few years ago, where they had to pay a whole bunch of money. In addition to the $100 million to their customers, Bank of America will also be forced to pay a $150 million penalty for those transgressions. And I got to say, guys, I was looking into it a little bit. Bank of America has a pretty crappy record, man, of ripping their customers off. In 2014, okay, they had to pay $727 million to victims of its illegal credit card scam. Opening credit cards under people's names and a whole bunch of different things they were doing to pump their earnings up. $727 million. It's a big number. Just last year, they had to fork over $235 million in fines for illegal garnishment of people's pay and failed disbursement of state unemployment benefits. Like in Nevada, Bank of America was the bank handling all the unemployment benefits for that department here in Nevada. Apparently, they were having some difficulty getting those payments out to people. Boom, big trouble, right? So this is great. Here's Bank of America, second biggest bank in the country, scamming not only their customers, but scamming their employees too, man. I mean, there's nobody that Bank of America won't take advantage of. You got to love this stuff, guys. They're rich, no morals. Somebody was getting, if this is a normal person, a schmuckatelli, who is doing these things to the numbers they're doing, okay, somebody's going to jail. Somebody be in jail for that, but not Bank of America execs. They're collecting fat bonuses for these scams. And here's the thing that really twerks me. You know, they have to pay $250 million between the penalties and their customer refunds, or whatever they're calling it, customer penalties and the institutional penalties. But who wants to bet that they probably got away with stealing $500 million? So paying $250 million is nothing more than the cost of doing business to them. Man, this is just a load. Corporate America getting just completely out of hand. You see this kind of stuff. You hear the stories about greedflation, corporations raising prices, blaming it on supply chains, blaming it on everything but what it really is about, and that's fattening their bottom line, fattening stock prices, fattening their paychecks, man, right? And I gotta say, guys, corporate America is really now, because they have the courts and everybody's been siding with them on everything, getting more and more brazen in flouting the rules, man. You know, it's sooner or later everybody's going to get sick of this stuff, I hope. And our beloved job creators are going to get the kick in the pants they deserve, man. Because let me tell you this, guys. It's true. Businesses create jobs. But they don't do it for charity, okay? They don't do it for any kind of other reason than they expect that person to generate more revenue than he costs. Okay? So they don't do it for charity. They do it for profit. Let's say it like it is, okay? And what do they want to do to their customers? Or their own employees? They want to chisel them on pay, not give them any benefits, hire them part-time, give them 32 hours, and all this other corporate bullshit they're doing across the country here. They're going to get theirs, man. If you piss off a guy like me, okay? I'm certainly no bleeding heart here, okay? But where's the line, man? So when you start to get a guy like me irked, well, it won't be long before there's a piper to pay. It's coming, guys. All right, let's talk about couple quick things today. As most of you guys know, today is Amazon Prime Day, also known as the Bezos gets richer, pays off his boat day. But there are some good deals. You know what I've been telling you guys? Buy the things you got to buy. Be careful of impulse. So if you're browsing around Amazon today, on the day of days, today and tomorrow, I guess, are big sales. Buy, but just be careful. Don't overbuy. Don't waste money. Be cautious, right? Second, regional banks. Okay, get ready, guys. If you're a stockholder and you're owning regional banks, or you might have been speculating that regional banks are going to survive and rally, be careful now, because big regulations coming to smaller and regional banks. Apparently, the rules that they set up for the major banks, the too big to fails, now going to apply to every bank. So they're going to be dealing with higher reserve requirements. They're going to be dealing with stress tests and a whole bunch of factors. And truthfully, it's probably a good idea with the commercial real estate collapse coming, okay? Also, I want to mention today, what's up with this crazy-ass weather in this country, man? Here in Vegas this weekend, I'm glad. I'll be out of town this weekend. I'll be up north in northern Nevada. Here in Vegas, they're expecting it to get to 118 degrees this weekend. Now, these are Death Valley numbers, not Vegas numbers, guys. It gets hot here, but 118, and then you got flooding everywhere else. I saw Vermont might float away, man. I mean, the weather in this country has gone as crazy as the government has. Crazy times. Also, another quick note. I saw today, we've been talking about the inverted yield curve, right? And how that typically signals a recession, but it's a less than perfect signal, right? Well, now, a way more accurate signal using this same inverted yield curve is flashing. 3-month note. 3-month note. Higher yield than a 10-year bond. So now this inversion is really crazy. A 3-month note has a higher yield than a 10-year bond. Okay? So this one has never failed. 100% track record. Unlike just a normal inverted yield curve, that one always signals a recession, but it's not 100% accurate. This one is recession coming. And lastly, before we wrap it up, we know tomorrow is a huge day, guys. CPI coming tomorrow. They're expecting 3.1% inflation on the top line, 5% for core. Keep those numbers in your head, because that's going to tell us the story of what kind of day it's going to be tomorrow. I think if these numbers can come in as expected or lower, you're going to see a nice rally. If these numbers come in worse than expected, all bets are off and the bond market goes to hell. It's going to be crazy. Anyway, we'll be here to give you guys all the bloody details. We appreciate your support. Tomorrow's going to be a great day, guys. Looking forward to it, and looking forward to giving you guys the news you need. Until tomorrow then, guys. Take care. Thanks.